Hello and happy Metta Monday. This is a short video created to support you in connecting with the best of yourself through neuroscience, spirituality, psychology, anything that I'm researching and bringing to you as this offering to support you. And this week I'm continuing on with anxiety and depression just to balance the conversation. I'm a Libra and I really believe in balance. And, I actually also had a friend reach out to me and say, hey, what about the, anxiety related or depression related disorders that are clearly, more genetically driven? And I did some research just to, address the question. It got me really curious too. And I confirmed that 30% of anxiety is estimated to be caused by not one gene, but, like a cluster, like a little, constellation of genes. And depression is even more heritable, between 30 or 29 and 42% according to one study, 40 to 50% for major depression according to another study. And so, to me, I see this as, 70% of anxiety is, not related to our genes, and, 50 to 70% of depression is not. So, there are levers that we can pull, whether this is, genetically inherited or, environmentally created. There are levers that we can pull to get back into a more balanced state. So to pull, in the polyvagal theory with anxiety and depression, anxiety is more related to that sympathetic activation. So there's, all the energy and blood flow is going to, the limbs. There's an excess of energy. And if we're overly sympathetically activated, then the organs aren't able to really function properly. So there might be digestive issues. And then depression is more of the dorsal vagal parasympathetic nervous system. So that is the lower energy. And so if you've ever felt a wave of that come over you, that's a very low energy. Both of those states, sympathetic and dorsal vagal, can be balanced back to ventral vagal, which is again the place where we connect. It's the place where we, have the most access to the prefrontal cortex, which is our, witnessing mind. It's our most intelligent self. And so, it's kind of like the Goldilocks principle, right? So if sympathetic is too hot and dorsal vagal is too cold, we're just looking for that just right nervous system state. And so, whether this is inherited or, situational, this is the nervous system we have. I had a former friend who I used to dance with years and years ago when I was 16, many years ago. And he would always say, about like, the ballet body, if dancers tend to complain. I don't mean to go on a bunny trail, but dancers love to complain about, my feet aren't arched enough and my knees aren't, straight enough. And, I was definitely one of these people that was complaining and ungrateful about what I had inherited because my ballet line wasn't perfect. And he said, work with what you've got. And I love that. And I absolutely, bring it in whenever I can as a coach. With anxiety and depression, this is our nervous system. This is what we've got. And so the better that we understand what we've got, the more that we can understand what resources we need. How do we get back to that just right state? If we're feeling low, maybe we need to move more. If we're moving too much and if we're, excessively, activated, maybe we need to ground. So the 4 abodes of the heart are a really nice resource for either of them, but particularly for anxiety, because it reconnects us and regrounds us. Equanimity is a beautiful antidote to anxiety. So, feel free to check out one of my videos. I did one on equanimity, which is this grounded, peaceful state in the body. Compassion, practicing compassion is a really beautiful practice for either anxiety or depression. We just make space for our discomfort and remind ourselves that we are more than just our suffering. So, that's my invitation, is to understand that, whatever got you here, you survived here you are. And, you know, if you do have anxiety or depression related to, you know, the environment, you know, there's a lot of conversation around, and, you know, Dr. Porges talks about this, Bessel van der Kolk talks about this, you know, anxiety and depression are adaptive responses. So, you know, these nervous system states helped us, you know, they helped us survive. So here we are, and we don't need these adaptations anymore. And so, you know, this is the opportunity we have to study and to resource around it. And so I've been talking about, you know, getting resourced with compassion, and, you know, with equanimity, and, you know, loving kindness is always, you know, an option as well. But there's also the opportunity to study. We can study with writing. We can study with just mindfulness all day. And can we witness ourselves, our thought patterns, the things we say, the things we do? And, you know, by witnessing our patterns, we can begin to change them. You know, we can witness them with a supportive friend, with a therapist, you know. So resourcing and studying, you know, these are sort of the two things that I'm recommending. They're kind of along the lines of the Buddhist two wings of enlightenment. There's, you know, wisdom and compassion. Okay, so we need both. We need to be soft with what we discover, and we need to do the work of discovery, so that we can continue to change and grow into the best and highest self that we have. And just get the noise out of the way. Get that nervous system noise out of the way. It takes work. And as I said, a balanced approach of resourcing and self-study will, you know, really support you in nurturing that nature. You know, nurture what you've got, nurture your nature. So the question of, you know, are we nurtured? Are we nature? Are we formed by one or the other? We know the answer. I think we all know the answer is somewhere in between. Nothing is black and white. But I think if we work with what we have and are always moving towards balance, then that's a good approach. So that's my offering today. I hope you have a beautiful week. I hope you have a beautiful holiday if you celebrate Thanksgiving. And yeah, may your day and week be beautiful and skillful. Thank you.